Welcome to Lesson 2A of The Art of War Applied to Investing. I'm your host, Tony Constantine, an investment advisor representative with LifeMark Securities Corp. Lesson number 2. Know yourself and know your enemy, and in 100 battles you will never be in peril. What is Sun Tzu trying to tell us here? I think the key thing is to note that he used the word peril. Now, are you going to lose a battle in war? Sure. But the key thing is to never be in peril. And what he means by that is simply this. And we're going to look at the American Revolution and General George Washington. Washington was the commander-in-chief of the colonial forces. Washington fought a lot of battles. He lost a lot of battles. In fact, looking at history, sometimes I get the feeling he lost more battles than he won. The key thing, again, is that he was never in peril. He never surrendered his army and his weapons to the British. No matter how bad the battle was, he was always able to get his men and his armaments out of the fray so he could run away and fight again another day. Another day came in 1781 at the Battle of Yorktown. Washington was able to maneuver Lord Cornwallis into an untenable position. Cornwallis had one viable choice: surrender, which he did. He turned over his army and all his wartime material to George Washington and effectively ended the war. How did Washington get so smart? Because he probably didn't have access to the art of war and never heard of Sun Tzu. Well, Washington was born and raised here in the colonies, so he understood the colonial mindset. During the French and Indian War, he served as an officer in the British Regular Army. He learned how to fight Indian style. He learned the thoughts and feelings of the frontier people and the colonials. And he also learned how the British fought. So when the Revolutionary War came, he was prepared. Now, it's impossible to go through life investing and not lose money at some point. I know theoretically you can, but I've yet to see anybody do that. The market goes up and down from day to day, and you never know where it's going to go. So you're going to lose some money. I believe what Sun Tzu is trying to tell us is that you never want to surrender the majority of your money. I know the market has gone down 40, 50, 60% sometimes. And the problem with that is that if you lose 50%, you've got 100,000 in your 401k. You lose half of it, or 50%, you've got 50,000 in your 401k. To get that money back to 100,000, it's going to take a 100% gain. Now, at 10% a year, as far as growth goes, it's going to take you 7.2 years. Now, if you only lose 20%, your 100,000 is now 80. You only need a 25% gain to get back to 100,000, and you can do that in about 2.5 years. So the result is that you've got 4 extra years in order to gain new money with your investment. That, I believe, is what Sun Tzu is trying to tell us. Now, another quote, or a quote from Another War, is from Oliver Hazard Perry, Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry, after the Battle of Lake Erie. His message was, "We have met the enemy and he is ours." Apply that to investing, and it comes out something like, "We have met the enemy and he is us." Yes, us. We are our own worst enemy when it comes to investing. It's not really our fault. As we discussed in the prior video series on investor behavior, we have 9 behavioral biases or tendencies that we all have to varying degrees. These tendencies or these biases lead us to make irrational decisions. Unfortunately, when we make these irrational decisions, we think we are being quite rational. We are not. If you have not viewed that series, or you've forgotten what some of the biases are, please go back and view it before lesson 2B next week, and have the list in front of you when you sit down to view 2B, because it's going to be important in helping you get a deeper understanding much more quickly. Come back again next week. We're going to talk about the external enemies or forces that we have in investing. If you have not requested your special goals worksheet, that is still available to you. Go ahead. The contact information will be on the screen momentarily. So jot that down and go ahead and request that. In the meantime, come back next week for part B of lesson 2. So between now and then, make every day a great day.